A lot of the pages that we'll build and use for our funnel will leverage buttons to help people navigate throughout our funnel. To add a button, we'll click to add a new element, and then on the left under Form, we'll click Button. Now that we've added the button, we can change the name of the element if we would like to add a recall link to this button further down the page. So we might call this Top Opt-in, for example. We can change the color of the button by clicking on the background and selecting a color, or selecting Add a Custom One, where we can add the hex code and click Add Color if we want to use one of our brand colors. We can change the letter spacing, the font size, the font weight, if there's subtext, the font weight of the subtext, the typography type, which we can change to content or custom and select one of the Google fonts. We can use the icon picker to add an icon to the button before or after, align the button to left, middle, or right justification, change the color of the text or the subtext if we're using it, add additional padding to any sides of the button using the margin and padding options. We can change the text that's displayed on the button. That's a look at what subtext on the button would look like. And at the very bottom, we can change the action that's taken when the button is pressed. We can have it open the pop-up on the page, which we'll cover in another video. We can have it go to a specific website, and we can put in the website URL that we want it to go to and whether or not we want it to open in a new tab or the same window. We can have it hide and show elements. This is where it's helpful if we've named elements in the page. For example, if we want to take this bullet list and we'll name it Hideable Bullet List, now we get the name of those elements. We can see where those element names come into play, and now we can see the hideable bullet list. So now we can see that because we've selected to hide an element once the button is pressed, we can see the bullets now, but if we click the button, they go away. Here we've opted to hide it. We can have it scroll to a particular element, which is the sort of recall function that I had talked about. So if we had a little bit longer of a page and we wanted the button to take somebody back up to the top, we could choose Scroll to Element and select where we wanted the button to bring them back up to in the page. Think of it as sort of like a bookmark function on the page so that if somebody clicks that button, it will take them to that element. We can have it go to a particular page in our website. This is very similar to linking to a website URL, but in this case, we just point it to the page instead. If we have a checkout option, we can add a one-click up or down sell. We can make the button click to call, so if somebody clicks the button, it immediately opens their phone and starts a phone call, which is helpful if the button were to say, call us, for example. We can have it initiate a text message or a new email, or we can link it directly to one of our memberships. The most common functions that we'll use in a lot of our pages will either be open pop-up, go specifically to a website or page, or potentially scroll to an element, depending on how long of pages we're using. Like text and other elements, we can give the button automations, or under the Advanced tab, we have more custom options that we can choose from. To customize the button further, we have the ability to choose whether the button is visible on desktop or mobile or both, enter a custom class name if we're referencing script, change the border options, and add shadows. If you'd like additional button options under Elements in the Buttons tab, there are other styles of buttons to choose from. All of these can be customized in the same way.